Now, we have the greatest common factor of terms with variables. Yung may variables naman or letters. Paano natin malalaman yon? Factor with the least exponent. Yung may pinakamababang exponent na makikita mo sa or madidivide mo dun sa bawat given or bawat term kapag polynomial. So, ano yon? Always remember, we do not write 1 as exponent. Hindi tayo nagsusulat ng 1 sa exponent, okay? So if the variable or a letter do not have exponent, it means the exponent is 1. Okay po. Hindi tayo naglalagay ng 1 sa exponent. Okay? So kapag nakita nyo na walang exponent, automatic 1 yung exponent na. Now, x, y, and y. xy is equal to 1 times x times y. Y is equal to 1 times y. Again, common factor or factor with the least exponent, okay, variable na may na pareho at may pinakamababang exponent. Again, ang exponent nitong pareho dahil wala silang exponent ay 1. So we have y. So ang ating common factor na x, y, and y, greatest common factor is y. Okay? Kahit hindi na natin isulat din yung 1. Kasi iisang term naman siya. We have xyz squared and xy squared z cubed. So here, the common factors are 1, isang y, dalawang z. Meaning, kung titingnan pa lang natin dito, ang common factor nila ay x, y, and z. So si x, since parehas naman 1, so isang x, common factor natin. Si y at y squared, ang mas mababa sa kanila is y. So we have y. xy na. And si z squared and z cubed, ang mas mababang exponent ay z squared. So we have the factor x, y, z squared. So that's the greatest common factor of these expressions or terms. Now, the greatest common monomial factor. The greatest common factor of number or greatest common monomial factor of numerical coefficients multiplied by the variable in each term with the least exponent. Okay? Ang greatest common monomial factor ay yung product ng greatest common factor ng numerical at yung variable na common na may least exponent. This is the three-step process in getting the GCMF of a polynomial. First one, get the greatest common factor of the numerical coefficients of each term if there is. Kung meron, GCF ang kada term, kada numerical value or number ng kada term, kukuhanin muna natin yun. Pangalawa, find the variable na nakikita nyo, okay, the variable that has the least exponent that appears in each of the term if necessary. So, sa kada term, titingnan natin ano yung variable na pare-pareho. And then, titingnan natin alin yung may least exponent. Now, for the last part, imumultiply mo yung sagot mo sa 1 at yung sagot mo sa step 2. So, that will be the GCMF or greatest common monomial factor. Let us try this. 5x plus 15. Tingnan muna natin. We have 5 and 15. Okay, step 1, GCF of numerical coefficient is 5. Okay, 5 is the greatest common factor of 5 and 15. Tapos, no variable appears in both terms. So, dito may x, pero dito, wala. So, hindi tayo maglalagay ng variable. Now, we have step 3, 5 only. Kasi, wala namang variable. So, the GCMF of 5x plus 15 is 5. Tingnan nyo yun, no? 5, 5, 1, 1, 3, 5, 15. Ang greatest common factor ay 5. Now, we have 4x minus 2xy plus 8xz. Okay? GCF of numerical coefficient is 2. Okay? Ang GCF nila, 4, 2, and 8, we have 2. Kasi wala namang 4 kay 2. So, dapat kung alin yung pare-pareho sa kanilang tatlo. So, the variable that appears in each term is x. Yan, as you can see, may x ito, x ito, x ito. And the least exponent is 1. Kasi pare-pareho naman silang 1. So, we have x. So, multiply the answers on step 1 and 2. We have 2 times x. We have 2x as GCMF of this expression. Okay po. Now, if the product, balikan natin, kapag given na yung product and other factor, we use division to get the other factors. Okay? To get the other factor, we will divide the product or polynomial by the GCMF. Nakuha na natin yung GCMF, i-divide natin each term ng polynomial. Polynomial ay 5x plus 15. GCMF ay 5, i-divide natin. 5x plus 15 divided by 5. So, una ito, 5x divided by 5 is x. Kasi makakancel to. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So, the factors are 5 and x plus 3. Written as 5 times x plus 3. Saan galing yung plus? Ayun po, nanggaling po sa ating polynomial. Okay? Now, we have 4x minus 2xy plus 8xz. Ang GCMF nito ay 2x. So, di-divide natin ang buong equation sa 2x. We have 4x divided by 2x is 2. Kasi makakancel na yung x. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2xy over 2x cancels 2x. You only have y. And 8xz minus divided by 2x, we have 4z. Kasi 8 divided by 2 is 4. Cancel na si x. We have z. Okay? And the factors are 2x and 2 minus y plus 4z. Written as 2x times 2 minus y plus 4z. So that's how we get the other factor when we already have the greatest common monomial factor. Now, take note that each factors can be interchanged because it will never affect the product. Pwede po magkabaliktad yung factors. Okay, balikan natin. Si 2x pwedeng mapunta dun sa kabila or sa loob siya ng ano. Then yung iba, nasa labas. Si 5 pwedeng mapunta sa loob ng parenthesis at makapalabas yung isang. Kasi hindi naman siya makaka-apekto sa product natin. Now, tingnan natin to. AB is equal to B times A. AB pa rin naman ang sagot, di ba? 2 times 4 is equal to 4 times 2. 8 pa rin naman ang sagot. A times A minus 2 is equal to A minus 2 times A. Pareho lang ang sagot na A squared minus 2A. So, that's how we get the factors. Now, what are the perfect square numbers? Ito, marami pa rin na nalilito. Ano nga ba yung mga perfect square? So, a number which is a product of a certain number raised to 2 or multiplied by itself. Yung perfect square numbers daw ay yung isang number na product siya ng isang number at sarili niya. So, ni-raise sa 2. We have here the list of the first 6 perfect numbers. We have 1 squared is equal to 1 times 1, di ba? Tinimes sa sarili, equals 1. Ganon din yung 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, itong mga nasa kaliwang ito at nasa mga kanang ito are square roots and perfect square numbers. So, ito, perfect square numbers doon nasa kanan kasi sila yung product. And then, ito yung square root kasi sila yung base. Okay? Or sila yung i-multiply sa sarili. Okay? That's perfect square and square roots. We have perfect square variables. Kapag sa variable naman, ang perfect square sa variable, ang perfect square ay doon na yung mga exponent ay even number. Okay, ang even numbers ay counting numbers divisible by 2. Yun yung mga even numbers. Okay? Ang odd naman, so hindi yung mga divisible by 2. Okay? So, a variable whose exponent, okay, exponent daw ay even number. Let us have our examples. Yan, a squared is equal to a times a. B squared, b times b. C to the fourth, c squared times c squared. Diba? D to the fourth, d squared times d squared. As you can see, the exponents are even numbers. So they are all perfect square variables. Itong mga to at itong mga to, they are perfect square, excuse me, they are perfect square variables, and then they are the square roots. Okay po. Now, we also have the perfect cube numbers. Ano naman yung perfect cube, sir? Kapag sinabi natin perfect cube, a number which is a product of a certain number raised to 3. Okay? Or multiplied by itself 2 times. Okay? Minultiply sa sarili kanina isang beses lang minultiply. Ngayon, dalawang beses na. So we have these examples. 1 cube ay 1 times 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 2 cube, 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 3 cube, 3 times 0 times 3, 27. 4, 64, 5, 125, and 6, 260. So, ito at ito, nasa kanan ay perfect cube numbers. And then, sa nasa kaliwa, cube roots. Okay po, they are the base na pinagmumultiply dalawang beses to get the perfect cube numbers. Okay, a variable exponent is divisible by 3 naman sa perfect cube variables. Okay, kung yung variable, ang exponent niya ay divisible by 3, they are perfect cube variables. Okay, kapag divisible by 2 or even numbers, they are perfect square. Kapag divisible by 3 naman, perfect cube sila. So we have a cube, b cube, c to the 6, d to the 6, e to the 9, and nagkamali ito, dito 8, ha? Dapat 9 yan. F to the 12, dapat ito din. Yan, 12 din. Okay. So, as you can see, yan, we have this here also. So, itong mga nasa kanan, ito ay e to the 9 dapat, ha? Kamali na lang tayo. F to the 12 ito. Okay? They are the perfect cube variables. And on your left side, the cube roots of those. Okay? Those are the basic things sa ating GCMF, perfect square, and perfect cube. Naunawaan po. Okay po. So, alam na natin kung paano ma-determine, kung kailan natin i-determine kung ito ba ay perfect cube or perfect square or hindi. Okay? So, that would be all for today. That's just a review. So try doing something, mag-isip kung paano mas mauunawaan. And I think madali nyo na naman siya mauunawaan kasi nandun na ang kailangan nyo gawin. Again, remember the process. Okay? So that's the basic things about factors, polynomials, perfect square, perfect cube, square root, and cube root. Okay. So, God bless you all and galingan nyo palagi.